The first blow, arrogance in fire. The skies above Helion Roman 4, a joint human-allied colony, burned red as plasma fire rained down. The Dravari Imperium, a reptilian empire infamous for their cruelty, had chosen the settlement as an example. They did not issue a declaration of war. No warnings, no demands, only violence. Civilian transports tried to flee orbit, but the Dravari Armada cut them down with casual precision. Hundreds of ships burned like candles in the void. The ground shook as orbital bombardments tore through habitats and farms, reducing decades of labor to ash in hours. On the comms, the Dravari commander's voice was dripping with contempt. So fragile these Terrans, so quick to scatter. This is survival, this is laughable. When a captured envoy begged for mercy, they executed him live before the galaxy's networks, broadcasting his final screams as entertainment. To the Dravari, this was not war. It was amusement, a demonstration, proof that Earth's species, famed for resilience, was nothing but a myth. Mockery across the stars. In the aftermath, the galaxy watched with unease. Neutral powers debated sanctions. The Dravari dismissed them with laughter. Their warlords gathered in victory halls, boasting of the slaughter. They toasted to human weakness, their scales glinting under firelight. They survived the impossible, they say. Impossible was delivered today. They survived nothing. Broadcasts carried their jeers across systems. They mocked Earth as too civilized, too restrained, a backwater planet that would never retaliate against an empire whose fleets spanned hundreds of systems. The Council of Worlds, ancient and cautious, whispered among themselves, "Surely Earth will bow, surely they will yield." The galaxy believed the myth of Terran patience had been shattered, that the impossible had finally killed humanity's pride. But humanity does not die in silence. The silence before the answer. In the weeks that followed, Earth was outwardly quiet. No declarations, no threats, no visible fleet movements. The Dravari took this as weakness. But beneath the silence, the machine of vengeance stirred. Out past Saturn's rings, shipyards blacked out their beacons and began waking leviathans forged in secret. In the Uit cloud, cloaked carriers warmed engines that had slept for decades. Across Earth's networks, orders were transmitted in cold, clipped phrases. Mobilize, prepare the black banners, no quarter. Humanity did not rush. They had no need. They let the galaxy believe the Dravari's boasts. They let whispers of human cowardice grow louder. And then the silence broke. When Earth's voice returned, the first sign came through the galactic comm relays. A single human transmission, carried across every channel the Dravari had polluted with their mockery. It was not long, it was not loud. It was a whisper, steady and merciless. We survive the impossible because we make it impossible for others to survive us. Then the fleets moved. The void lit up with Terran dreadnoughts, each the size of a city, hulls black as midnight, engines roaring like storms. Strike groups emerged from shadows where no fleet should have hidden. Carriers unfolded wings of fire, disgorging swarms of fighters like locusts. Entire sectors went dark as Earth's electronic warfare severed the Dravari's comms. What the Imperium thought was strength became silence, and silence became death. The storm humanity unleashed. The first battle was over Dravari Prime's forward bastion. The alien fortress, long thought impregnable, lasted 8 minutes. Orbital cannons designed to shatter moons were drowned beneath kinetic strikes, rods of tungsten falling at relativistic speed, each impact shaking continents. When the Dravari scrambled reinforcements, They found their fleets already ambushed by human hunter groups lying in wait. Humans did not fight for territory, they fought to erase. Entire flotillas of human warships dove into the heart of Dravari formations, ripping through them with point-blank fury. Boarding teams cut through bulkheads with weapons older civilizations had deemed too brutal, leaving no survivors. The galaxy watched in stunned horror as transmission after transmission leaked out. Dravari fleets screaming, begging, burning. One by one, stars that once bore the Imperium's banners now bore only silence. The annihilation of certainty. The Dravari had believed themselves untouchable. Their fleets were vast, their worlds fortified, their rule uncontested. But humanity did not come with warnings or diplomacy. They came as a storm of vengeance. Over Hellion Roman 4, where the massacre began, the Terran flagship descended into low orbit. Survivors, those few who had hidden underground, waiting in terror, looked up and saw the sky blacked out by a human fleet so immense it blotted out the sun. The commander's message was simple. We have not come to rebuild, we have come to remember. And then, in front of billions watching, the Dravari orbital platforms that had burned the colony were ripped apart piece by piece. Not destroyed in fire, but dismantled methodically, as if to show the galaxy that no fortress was beyond Terran hands. Retribution without mercy. World after world fell. On Karathas, the Dravari stronghold known for its endless slave markets, human shock divisions landed like iron storms. They did not negotiate. They did not occupy. They freed every chained being and left the planet burning. On Draxon Ridge, an entire Dravari fleet was annihilated by a single Terran supercarrier. Its railguns fired until the barrels glowed white, each shot tearing through cruisers as though they were made of glass. Survivors tried to flee into hyperspace, only to discover Terran interdiction fields already locked around them like a cage. When asked for surrender terms, Earth gave none. The galaxy realized then, humans were not retaliating for power. They were retaliating for memory. Every child burned, every envoy executed, every whisper of mockery. Humanity carried it all like coals in their chests, and now those coals had become a wildfire. The collapse of the Dravari. The Imperium that had once mocked Earth now fractured. Governors abandoned their thrones. Fleets deserted into the void. Entire populations begged for mercy. But the storm did not stop. The Dravari homeworld itself, long thought invulnerable, woke to skies filled with Terran dreadnoughts. Cities screamed as kinetic fire fell like judgment. Their emperor, who had ordered the massacre of Hellion Roman 4, transmitted one final plea. We yield, spare our people. The answer was colder than space. You spared none of ours. Then Earth silenced the Imperium forever. Aftermath, the whisper in the dark. When the fleets withdrew, they left no occupation armies, no puppet governors. They left only silence. The stars where the Dravari once reigned were graveyards now, scattered with wreckage. The galaxy trembled. In council halls, diplomats spoke in hushed voices. If this is what humanity does in grief, what will they do in war? Among survivors, a single phrase spread like a chill wind. Never provoke Earth again. Because the galaxy had finally learned the truth. Humans survive the impossible because they are the impossible. They endure what no one else can. They rise when others would fall. And when they answer, their vengeance is not measured in battles. It is measured in the silence that follows. And so, from that day onward, every starfaring race knew. Patience may define Earth, but patience has a limit. And when that limit is crossed, humanity does not merely survive. They make certain no one else does.